Good morning, I'm Glenn with General Electric Appliance. I'd like to spend a few minutes with you today talking to you about the GE Smooth Top electric ranges, specifically the model JB640, which at cons you show and display in two different colors. Here in white on my left, and then in true stainless steel on my right. Normally priced at cons every day at $5.99 in the white and $6.99 in the stainless steel, before 10% off if it's being offered. Let's talk about this range and talk about why it's a great value for your customer. Before we begin talking about this range, I want you to keep something in mind as you present ranges to your customer. Remember that in a typical kitchen in the United States, the range probably stays in the kitchen longer than any other appliance that a consumer will typically buy. In other words, they trade it out less often. So you want to make sure that your consumer is selecting and you're showing a range that is really going to meet their needs. And you know, $50 to $100 really doesn't make a big difference for this appliance, and it really shouldn't, because they're going to keep it in their kitchen for so long. So let's keep that in mind, and let's convey that message and remind our customers of that as we show them the great selection of ranges we have here at Cons. The JB640 from General Electric is a self-cleaning smooth top electric range. And I'm going to go ahead and talk to you about the controls first on this range. First of all, you've got an electronic control pad up here for all of your oven controls, and then of course your dials for your burner cooktop controls. Let's talk about some of the specific features that are offered in this control panel that you need to be demonstrating and talking to your customer about. It's got bake and broil performance on the oven on this one. It is a real large 5.3 cubic foot oven, and we'll talk about that here in a little bit. On the broiling feature, it does have what we call high and low broil. So it's not just one temperature or intensity, I should say, of broiling. So let's say you want to do some Texas toast in the morning for breakfast. You would probably want to do that on low broil. But let's say you want to make some steaks. You want to broil some steaks in your oven because it's pouring rain outside and I can't use my grill. You could use high broil because you want to sear those steaks and lock in the juiciness of that beef that you're doing. So high and low broil is a great feature to show your customer, and a lot of competitive ranges that you sell here at Cons don't have that great feature. So it's something unique that you can show on this General Electric range. Another great feature on this JB640 is what we call a programmable oven. You can actually tell the oven what time you want it to start cooking and how long you want it to cook, and program it ahead of time. Why would a consumer want to use that? It's more of a kind of a weekend and holiday thing. Have you ever, had a bunch of errands to run on a Saturday or a Sunday, but you wanted to make a brisket or a roast or a ham, but you really weren't going to be home to put it in the oven because you had so many errands to run outside the home? Well, with a programmable oven, you could actually go ahead and marinate and prepare that meat and go ahead and place it in the oven and program that oven to turn on at 2 in the afternoon while you're out getting a haircut. And actually cook for 2.5 hours, so that when you get home from running your errands or going shopping, your meat is ready to go. So it's a great feature to have, and a great feature to have for the holidays. Thanksgiving coming up here in a couple of months. You want to put the big bird in there after you marinate it and stuff it and do all that good stuff to it before you go to bed. You put the bird in and program it to come on at 2, 3 in the morning. And you can have your turkey dinner, at lunchtime if you're one of those that eats early. So a programmable oven is a great feature to talk about with your consumer, especially if they love to cook in the home. And a lot of your competitive ranges around this price point of $5.99 do not have a programmable oven. So let's show that feature to our customer. And of course, you have a clock and a kitchen timer on the control panel as well. Something else that you'll notice on this control panel that I want you to point out to your customer is the fact that it has a true temp oven. This has a true temp oven control, so it's not the same as some of our other ranges that you sell for a lesser price. This actually has a precise electronic oven control that monitors the temperature in this oven and keeps those temperature swings from going so high and so low. So it takes out the big peaks and valleys in temperature and gives you a more precise, even temperature if you're baking or roasting. For someone that bakes a lot, great feature, because when you're baking, we're dealing with minutes, not hours, because we're baking cookies or a pie or a cake. We're not dealing with 2-3 hours at a time. So those minutes can be, you know, a real critical time if you're overcooking or undercooking something. So it's really important to maintain that precise set temperature, you know, that you've set on the oven, and that's where TrueTemp oven controls really come into play. On a TrueTemp oven, you'll notice it even has a platinum tipped oven sensor, a temperature sensor I should say, and I'll show that to you in the oven when we get to down the oven here in just a minute. So make sure you talk about TrueTemp controls, because that is not a feature that's offered on all of our lesser priced ranges, and a lot of our competitors' ranges that are around this price point also do not have this precise electronic temperature control. So that's all your controls up in here. Now, one thing I wanted to point out to you on the temperature dials is on this JB640 range, you've got a special simmer and melt feature. It is a lower temperature that's even lower than low. So if you look at the dial here, you notice that I've got the low setting, but above that, if I go up here, I have a simmer setting. So if you've got a gravy or a sauce that you would just want to maintain on a very, very low simmer, you can actually do that on this burner. And then you can also do that, actually this would be the only one on this side. And then you have a melt feature called out on this burner and then on this burner over here as well. And it's called out to your consumer on the knob. So point that out. That's something new that they probably didn't have on their old range. Notice from an appearance standpoint, you've got a beautiful wrapped backsplash on the range. It's not a square boxy look like their old range they had in their kitchen. It's actually rounded and contoured, so it gives it a real nice modern contemporary appearance. Now let's talk about the cooktop. You know, remember the cooktop is where we spend 80% of our cooking time. It's where we do most of the work, okay? So it's important to really spend the right amount of time talking about the cooktop with our customer. First of all, if the customer has never had a glass top, they might be moving up from a coil electric range that they had before. We want to make sure that they're comfortable with the surface and understand that it's not just, you know, easily breakable glass. This is tempered glass, so they can drop a pan on it and you know, run pans across it, and it's not going to crack or you know, chip or scratch. You know, with normal, you know, everyday kitchen use. So it is a special glass that's made for the type of use we're doing here. You'll want to use flat bottom metal pans or glass pans on it. Doesn't work quite as good on cast iron. Because it doesn't conduct heat as evenly throughout the cast iron flat bottom surface. So you kind of want to educate your customer, especially if it's their first time with a glass top, as to what type of cookware works best. Talking about the burners that we have to offer on this JB640 model, you'll notice that the real nice thing about this is you have a giant 12-inch burner on the front right here. This is where you can do that big fry pan. You're doing a big stir fry, or you've got a big soup pot, you know, of gumbo or that you want to do. You would want to do that on this big giant 12-inch burner. Now let's say you want to use this burner, but you really don't need that big 12-inch size heating surface. You can actually only use the 9-inch interior ring right here just by selecting this toggle switch up here and selecting the small burner. So this toggle switch allows you to select the small burner or the large burner and then light up what you need to based on your pan size. I've got a smaller 6-inch burner in the rear right and another 6-inch burner on the rear left, and then a medium-sized burner on the front left. So it offers great versatility and flexibility in the type of pans that I can use and the type of heat output that I need. Obviously, if you're going to do any kind of high output cooking, you know, like frying, stir frying, anything where you need high heat output, you want to use your larger burner because it's got higher BTU heat output than your smaller 6-inch burners would, or even your other 8-inch burner here on the left-hand side. So that's your cooktop. Now let's talk about the oven. Going into the oven, on the exterior of the oven door, you'll notice that we offer steel handles on our ranges. These are not plastic handles, and it's steel all the way. You don't have any plastic end caps. It is all steel, so it's going to last for the life of the range. A real large hearth-shaped window, so you can see what's going on in the oven as you cook. And then when you open the oven, you can see the super large 5.3 cubic foot oven capacity that we have to use to cook. And the other thing that's unique about GE ranges compared to most competitive models that are out there is the fact that not only it's a big oven, 5.3, but it's a more usable oven. In other words, we can use more of that capacity for cooking. And what I mean by that is we, on most GE ranges, offer you 6 rack positions inside this oven. So you have 1 where this lower rack is, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 6 where I have this top rack. So I can do the large ham or turkey down here on the main rack and still be able to do a casserole, vegetable or potato casserole on the upper rack at the same time and not have to cook things at separate times. Great feature to show your customer. I would encourage you to display your GE ranges on your sales floor with the racks in these positions so that you can talk about that as you demonstrate it for your customer. Inside the oven, you'll also notice that on this model JB640, you can't see the bake element. It has what we call hidden bake. So from a cleanability standpoint, it's very easy to wipe out any crumbs or spills you might have had on the bottom of the range because you don't have the heating element exposed in here. Now remember, we talked about this being a true temp oven. If you actually get your consumer to get down on their knees and take a peek in the oven like I am here, you can actually point out to them what looks like a temperature probe in the top of the oven, and it's in the back center top of the oven. There's a probe that actually sticks out, and that's a platinum tipped oven sensor that senses the temperature in this oven and helps us maintain that real tight temperature swing so that we're keeping it as close to your set temperature as we can to give you the most precise baking and roasting that you can get out of your oven. So you've got a great cooking flexibility in your oven. Of course, this oven is a self-cleaning oven, so you don't have to do any of the scrub dub, with the easy off. You set it and forget it, and about 3 hours later it's clean, and you just open up and just wipe out the bottom, after your self-cleaning process. So again, the hidden bake comes in real handy, not having to dodge that element when you're wiping out the bottom after that self-cleaning process. During that self-clean process, you close the door and you do lock the latch here, and that has an inner safety latch that will not allow the door to be open during that self-cleaning process, so the kiddos can't decide to play with the latch and try to get in the door during that process. And then down below, you've got your traditional storage drawer where you can store all your pots and pans down in the bottom of the range. So you've got a great value in this JB640, again at $599 in color and $699 in true stainless steel, offered here at Conn's, and that's before 10% off. Today we're actually $599 on the white, and we're $629 after 10% on the stainless steel today at Conn's. Thank you for your attention. Appreciate it.